Hello, my fellow unicorns. How are you this evening? Today, I am drinking a little bit of lavender tea with honey before I go to bed. I love to record my videos at night before I go to bed. I feel it relaxes me. So, lavender tea is really good for stress and really good for sleep. So, I don't always drink tea, but tonight it's a little cold, so I just feel like I want to drink some tea while I read to you another story from the Random House Book of Fairy Tales. So, without further ado, let's get started. Today's story is fun. It's Beauty and the Beast. This one's written by Madame Le Prince de Beaumont. And here, this illustration's gorgeous because I love the snowstorm. And the rider here going towards a place in the forest that's not affected by snow. Perhaps an enchanted part of the forest. Who knows? We'll see. So, a rich merchant in a far-off land had for many years been lucky in all his undertakings. His 3 daughters danced in jeweled ball gowns, and his 3 sons rode Arabian steeds that moved like the wind. Then one day, for no reason, the merchant suddenly lost everything. His house caught fire and burned to the ground, and all his ships at sea were sunk or plundered by pirates. Only a small cottage remained to him, and the merchant was forced to move there with his children. The 2 older daughters grumbled continually, regretting the lost amusements of their past. But the youngest, who was called Beauty, tried her best to comfort her father and her brothers. After many months, the merchant got news that one of his ships, which he believed was lost, had come safely into port. His children came to see him off on his journey to the harbor town, naming the presents he must buy them. But Beauty did not ask for anything. When her father pressed her, she said she only wished for a safe return. But surely, Beauty, there is some small treasure I may bring you, he said. If you see a rose along the way, you might pick it for me, she answered. It is my favorite flower, and it does not grow near here. Then the merchant set out and reached the town. He soon discovered that his companions, believing him dead, had divided all the goods between them. Thus, he was forced to return home, poorer even than when he had started. The way led through a deep forest, and it was snowing so bitterly that his horse could hardly carry him further. Just when the merchant was about to give up hope, he saw a track that opened into an avenue lined with orange trees. To his surprise, no snow had fallen there, and the air smelled sweet and warm. Soon, the merchant came to a courtyard, and then he went inside a vast castle. He passed through many splendid rooms, but no one answered when he called out. The place seemed entirely empty, and a deep silence was everywhere. At last he saw a small sitting room where a cheerful fire was blazing. A table was set with all manner of wines and meats, and as the merchant was very hungry, he lost no time in beginning the meal. Afterward, he looked again for his host to thank him, but finding no one, he lay down upon a couch before the fire and fell fast asleep. When he awoke, he was refreshed and ready to continue his journey. Just as he was passing out of the courtyard, he saw a hedge of roses. Remembering Beauty's request, he stopped and gathered one to bring her. But no sooner had he done so than the hideous beast appeared. His face was so ugly that the man could not bear to look at it. The beast spoke in a terrible voice. "So this, then, is how you show gratitude? Was it not enough that I allowed you in my castle and was kind to you?" The merchant fell to his knees. "Oh, please, noble beast, do not take my life. I only picked the rose for my daughter Beauty, who begged me to get her one." On hearing this, the beast said gruffly, "I will forgive you only if you send one of your daughters to die in your stead. She must come willingly, or else I will not have her. Now you may stay and rest in my castle until tomorrow." Although the merchant found an excellent supper laid for him, he could not eat, nor could he sleep, although everything had been provided for his comfort. The next morning, he set out again on a fine horse that the beast had left him. When he came near his house, his children came out to greet him, but seeing the sadness in his face and his eyes filled with tears, they asked what was the matter. He gave Beauty the rose and told her all that had happened. At once, the two older sisters turned on Beauty. "It is your fault," they told her. "A rose indeed." "I shall go with father," Beauty said. "We will keep his promise to the beast." Her father and her brothers who loved her begged Beauty to change her mind, but nothing would sway her. Go she must, and so they set out the very next morning, riding together on the beast's horse. When they reached the avenue of orange trees, the statues were holding flaming torches and fireworks flared in the sky. The palace gates opened of themselves, and Beauty and her father walked into a room where a delicious meal awaited them. Hardly had they finished eating when they heard the beast's footsteps echoing on the marble floor. Beauty clung to her father in terror, but the beast spoke to them in a mild tone and inquired about their journey. "Have you come here willingly, Beauty, to die in place of your father?" he said at last. "Yes, willingly, and I know that I must stay," she said, looking at his face and trying to keep her voice from trembling. "That is good," the beast answered. "Your father may spend the night, but must go home in the morning." He bowed and took his leave of them. Beauty tried to comfort her father when they parted by saying that the beast did not seem very cruel. Perhaps he would relent and one day allow her to return home. She watched him ride off and then walked up a curving stairway into a room with mirrors all around. On the door was written in golden letters, Beauty's Room, and in the mornings a clock awakened her by calling her name softly 12 times. She was alone all day, but when she was having her supper, the Beast would draw the curtains and come in. He spoke to her so pleasantly that she soon lost much of her fear of him. Each night, just before he left, he turned toward her and said, "Am I very ugly?" "Yes," replied Beauty, "but you are so kind to me that I no longer mind." "Will you marry me then?" he asked. "Pray do not ask me," said Beauty. "Since you will not, then good night, Beauty." And the Beast would go away. The castle was full of galleries and apartments containing rare and precious things. In one room was a cage filled with exotic birds. In another, a troop of monkeys of all sizes came to meet her, making low bows. Beauty was enchanted with them and asked the Beast if she might have one to keep her company. At once, 2 young apes appeared and 2 small monkeys with them. They chattered and jumped all around her, making Beauty laugh. Each night at supper time, the Beast came to see her. Gradually, she came to know him and liked him more and more. But to his question, "Beauty, will you marry me?" she always said, "No, Beast," very gently. And when she said these words, it seemed to her that he was sad and in some way disappointed with her. Though Beauty had everything she could wish for and was content there, she never stopped missing her father and brothers and sisters. At last, one evening, she begged the Beast to let her go home. "Ah, Beauty, will you desert an unhappy beast so easily?" "Very well, then. You shall visit your home, but you must promise to return in 2 months' time. You will not need any horse to carry you back. Only take this ring and turn it twice upon your finger the night before you come away, and in the morning you will be with me." The Beast told her to take all that she wanted from the castle as presents for her family, and he gave her 2 trunks. Though Beauty heaped them to the top with gold and trinkets, there always seemed to be more room, and they were not filled until she was tired of packing them. She went to sleep, but in the morning she awoke. When she awoke, she was in a strange place. Suddenly she heard her father's voice and knew that she was home. Her sisters and brothers greeted her joyfully, but though their fortunes had changed and they were living in the town again, their entertainment seemed hollow, and Beauty often thought of the castle where she had been so happy. As the weeks went by, when she spoke of returning, but her father and brothers begged her to stay, and she had not the courage to say goodbye to them. The ring the Beast had given her was on her dressing stand, and one night Beauty put it on and gazed into the stone. Slowly, an image appeared, and she saw the Beast in a far part of the castle gardens. He was lying on his back, and he seemed to be dying. In a panic, Beauty grasped the ring and turned it around 2 times. In the morning, She was at the Beast Castle. She searched everywhere, but she could not find him. At last, she ran to the place in the gardens she had dreamed of, and came upon the beast lying among the high bushes. Beauty put her head down on his cheek, but at first he was not breathing. Then she began to weep. "Oh, he is dead, and it is on my account," she said, and her tears fell upon his face. Slowly, the beast opened his eyes. "Oh, beast, how you frightened me," Beauty cried. "I never before knew how much I loved you." "Can you really care for such an ugly creature as I am?" said the beast faintly. "Yes, oh yes, dear beast. Only live to be my husband, and I will be your wife forever." The moment Beauty uttered these words, a dazzling light shone everywhere. The palace windows glittered with lamps, and the music was heard all around. To Beauty's great wonder, a handsome prince stood before her. He said that her words had broken the spell of a magician who had doomed him to wear the form of a beast. This terrible enchantment could be broken only when a maiden loved him in spite of his ugliness. Then the grateful prince claimed Beauty as his bride. Her family was sent for, and the wedding was celebrated the very next day. Okay, so I love Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favorite fairy tales. I love this illustration. I love the Disney version, the animated version from the 90s. It's just a classic one. They really conveyed the longing and the love between Belle and Beast. But in regards to the story, it's a little bit different than the Disney version. It's a bit older. But I absolutely love it. I love the costuming that's represented in the illustrations. Everything's so ornate. And I guess it's a French, it comes from French origins, so, during that time the French were very decorative in the way they dressed and everything. So, makes sense. But, the only thing I wish is that they did more illustrations in color, because this is just amazing. I love seeing the little banquet here on the table, and then when Beauty first meets the Beast. Very beautiful. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel and all the videos on it get seen every time you press the like button. So, thank you guys so much for watching.